When we talk about Tantra, a lot of people think about orgies, hedonistic sexual activity, when in fact it is the art of learning how to be present in our sexual experiences so that we can be more present in our experiences in life in general. Hi, my name is Natalie and I've been teaching and practicing tantric meditations and yoga for the past 8 years. I do private sessions and I do them with men and women and couples, and I share on my YouTube channel some of the insights that I have reached on my journey. A lot of the times life just passes us by. We're not really present. We only contemplate what happened after it happened, and we find it very hard to be present in the moment. For that, a lot of people practice meditation, but meditation can be very boring, and not everyone connects to, to that whole like spiritual yogic meditation vibe. And so you could say that meditation isn't really accessible for most people, because even if you do connect to meditation, it might take you a while, even years, to realize, what you're doing, how to do it, and it's not that easy a thing to do, which is one of the reasons I reached Tantra by mistake, basically. I didn't really intend on doing that, but I did. And there is where I learned the art of being present in my sexual experiences, whether it's by myself or with a partner, how to breathe and how to move my focus from my thoughts to the sensations in my body. I can tell you as a woman, I used to have a lot of thoughts during having, while I was having sex, whether it was with my partner or, with just someone I had a sexual interaction with. I would find myself lying on my back and just thinking about stuff, and not even stuff that were relevant to what I was doing in that moment. I was just, I don't want to say escaping, but I was kind of escaping to my mind and not really present in the sexual, physical, interaction and situation that I was in. I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't really enjoy sex. And I mean, I did enjoy sex, but not as much as I could. I didn't really reach orgasms from penetration. Like, sexual experiences, they were fun for me. But at one point during the sex, I would basically blank out and find myself obsessing about different thoughts that had to do with my life, and then not really being present in the actual experience. And then I wouldn't actually feel the sensations of the sexual energy in my body. And it's kind of like a disconnect that happens to us a lot of the times in situations where our subconscious feels like we're in danger. And it's the fight, flight, or freeze mode. And the flight during sex, for women at least, is to escape, to run off to your thoughts and to your imaginary world inside your head, and not be actually present in the sexual experience. Maybe because we've had bad sexual experiences in the past, we have trauma, we have things that we haven't processed yet, and then our body recognizes this situation as dangerous and we escape to our mind. With men, it's a little bit different. I think a lot of men sometimes will imagine and fantasize about other women when they're having sex, especially with their partner that they've been with for, however long, but usually years. And maybe sexual attraction, maybe our connection isn't really strong, but we want to have sex, we're married, whatever. And then men will fantasize sometimes about other women or other sex that he's having, and that will help him raise the sexual energy. So that's the male and the female version. Now, if we as women would do what men do, we would already have a better time, because at the moment, a lot of our thoughts during sex have nothing to do with sex, and it sabotages our sexual energy in our body and disconnects us from the experience. So if we start to notice that we do think a lot during sex, maybe we can knowingly and consciously start thinking about sexual thoughts while having sex instead of groceries or our day-to-day stuff. And that would be a step forward. Eventually, we want to be present in the moment, in the sexual experience, and fully present in our body. Because when we're doing something with our body and we're not present in our body, that's where all kind of weird things can happen. We can injure ourselves, hurt ourselves, And, you know, with women, a lot of the times that's all kind of weird stuff that we have down there. And it happens because we're not fully present in our sexual experiences. And then our body rejects the sexual energy and causes us all kinds of stuff down there. So we want to be fully present in the experience, in the physical experience while it's happening. But there are stages. So the first stage, and I'm talking about women at the moment, the first stage is to notice that I am thinking a lot during sex. And then when I notice that that's happening, I can take a deep breath and try and come back to my body. But if that's hard, or I keep on going back to my thoughts, maybe I can I can try to imagine different sexual experience that I've had that were pleasurable for me while I'm having the sex, and to see how that affects my body differently than just regular thoughts about the groceries. So first, I notice that I have thoughts, that I go to my mind during sex and I'm not fully present in my body. Then maybe try and imagine more sexual things when I'm having sex and going to my mind. And then after I've done that, and I've maybe noticed like, oh, when I imagine sexual things when having sex, it actually makes me even more horny. It raises my sexual energy even more. And then I can start following my breath and going back to the body, or to my body, while I'm having the sex. And maybe look my partner in the eye, maybe communicate like whatever emotions I'm feeling in that moment, but come back to the present moment. Now, this is very difficult. Well, not very difficult, but it can be difficult when I have issues with the person I'm having sex. And so the tantric practice, or the recommendation, would be to practice first of all with yourself. So that would be tantric masturbation. I'm lying on my back, raising the sexual energy with a toy or with my hand. I'm talking to women at the moment, but it's also relevant to men. And then I start noticing these thoughts that come up. I can stop touching myself and go to the thoughts and see, like, what are these thoughts? How do they make me feel? Breathe, come back to the body. I can try and imagine sexual things that arouse me during the masturbation, see how that affects my body. And I want to stay as present as I can and notice the times where I go to my mind and actually, come back to my body every time that I notice that happens. It's not something that just happens to me. It's something that I do have control over. I can learn how to control the mechanism of my mind and body. But if we don't learn how to do that and we're just like, oh, that just happened, we lose control. And when we lose control, it's just all going to happen automatically, and we might not really have the best experience that we could have. So that's what happens to women a lot of the times. Again, to men, it can be like fantasizing about other women during the sex, and that could, be a sign for a lot of things. Maybe I'm not attracted to my partner anymore. Maybe I can share these fantasies with her. I want to explore the thoughts that are coming up during sex, even if they're about another woman. And I know it can be a very delicate issue to talk about with your partner, because then there's the jealousy and all that. But we want to be honest about our sexual lives, like we've already said before. So maybe it's something that we could share. And maybe if I'm a man and I am fantasizing about other women, maybe the main practice would be breathe and come back to your body. Breathe, come back to the body. Look at your partner. Feel her body. Just be more present in the situation, because when a man fantasizes, it doesn't matter about what, during sex, he's basically abandoning the person he's having the sex with. And the same goes for women. When you drift into your mind and thoughts, you're abandoning your partner who you're having sex with in that moment. And we don't, a lot of us have abandonment issues. It can come up during sex. It's not a very pleasant thing to do to someone, and we might even be doing it to each other. So it's something that we want to start paying attention to, and maybe bringing a bit more awareness and control over our thoughts and what happens to our mind and body while we're having sex. And if we start doing that and practicing that, then maybe it will also occur in our day-to-day life, because there also might be situations in our life where we blank out or space out and drift into our minds. And these could be situations that we actually do want to be more present in, but it's just difficult, it's triggering for us. So we go to our thoughts and we want to start paying attention to that too. But a lot of the times it's easier to start noticing these things and working on these things during sex or with sexual energy, because it's just, it's very like clear and in your face, and then it will also start happening in the other areas in your life. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I started doing meditation and Tantra because I had OCD, like obsessive compulsive thoughts. I'm very mental. I understand things through my mind, and a lot of the times I drift into my mind and I get lost in the world of my mind. And meditation helped me learn how to come back to the present moment, and I did that also with the help of my body and the sensations in my body. And so Tantra is a way to start doing that. I hope that was interesting and that you took something from it, and I would love to hear from you in the comments what you thought and what are your experiences in this area. And if you like the video, you're more than welcome to subscribe and to like, and I upload these videos every week. It's the topic that I like to talk about the most. And so yeah, I will see you soon in the next video, and thank you for watching.